Elon Musk knows how to get down. Why did I click on it? Bro, this is when you know have lost the sauce, like they're lost in the sauce, okay? This is like when Trump supporters were running around talking about how hot Donald Trump is. Like, that's when you know. It's not because they like completely uniformly agree with everything that Donald Trump is doing. That much I understand, you know what I mean? But that's the first indication that that is the best indication that you are dealing with a cult and cult members. When they look at something that is so objectively untrue, so impossible to see through their lens, and yet they're still doing it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh man, look at how swagged out he is. Elon Musk doesn't need a Neuralink and chip the brains of his followers to get to this point. He already has somehow held them captive for some weird reason. Ken Klippenstein, aka Ken Legenstein, has a new article, or is promoting a new article. Managers were recently told to provide a list of people who ought to be promoted. Many of those managers were subsequently fired and replaced by those they'd recommend. You know who did this? Saddam Hussein. He literally did that. Career hack.
I just saw on Twitter a man reach out to Elon Musk and tweet at him. He had to publicly tweet at Elon Musk, hey, Elon Musk, do I still work for your company? You shut off access on my computer, but no one's ever told me if I was fired. Elon goes on to talk more shit on this man than is legally intelligent to do. The man has muscular dystrophy, lives in Iceland, and had sold his company to Twitter for a job. Elon trashes this guy up and down and says, "You not only do you not work here, you never did any work." The man has muscular dystrophy. He can barely move. And Elon just talks all this shit. But through the guy's replies, what I slowly started to realize is Twitter doesn't have an HR department. This is a living company currently that is floating around, run by the richest man in the world, that does not have a functional HR department.
Opportunity.
So y'all, you know what that means? It means it's time for all of us to now be former employees of Twitter.
That's so funny. Someone said, how is that legal? What do you mean? Who cares? It's just a lie. It's just a little lie, dude. What do you mean? Yes, you can and maybe even should lie on your resume. It's something that everyone does. After all, look at George Santos. George Santos got to Congress doing this, but tenfold. You can always lie, just not on the stand, just not to your investors, your shareholders, you know, things like that. Oh, well, Elon technically lied to shareholders and said 420 funding secured, but that was legally permissible because he was a billionaire. The only time you can lie to your shareholders is if you have like more money than them, I guess. Like even collectively, they don't have more money than you. It's like a weird system. You know what I mean? That's pretty much the only time you can lie to shareholders. It was legally allowed because the jury didn't want to do math. It logged me into a $150K salary in IT. As long as you can prove you can do the job, who gives? Yeah, baby. Yeah, there was a select subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government. The House weaponization hearing featuring testimony from Matt Taibbi. Here's what happened to Matt Taibbi at the hearing.
Before you became Elon Musk's hand-picked journalist, and pardon the oxymoron.
The reality is Matt Taibbi did become a mouthpiece for a billionaire and his like $44 billion purchased corporation, which is really, really sad.
You stated this on Joe Rogan's podcast about being spoon-fed.
That's not the story at all. That's not the story at all. That is exactly what happened to Matt Taibbi. Matt Taibbi acted like he was doing like, cutting edge journalism with the Twitter files when the Twitter files itself didn't show anything.
Information, and I quote, "I think that's true of any kind of journalism," and you'll see it behind me here. "I think that's true of any kind of journalism. Once you start getting handed things, then you've lost. They have you at that point, and you got to get out of that habit. You just can't cross that line. Do you still believe what you told Mr. Rogan? Yes or no? Yes or no?"
Yes.
Good. Now, you crossed that line with the Twitter files.
No.
Elon Musk, it's my time. Please do not interrupt me. Elon Musk spoon-fed you his cherry-picked information, which you must have suspected promotes a slanted viewpoint, or at the very least generates another right-wing conspiracy theory. You violated your own standard.
I mean, he did. He did. Anyone that says like he didn't is ridiculous. This is characteristic of a type of quietly pro-capitalist guy who shields powerful bosses from criticism, often using faux class politics. Pose about PMCs being deranged, but actually all billionaires deserve that same hostility from the press, even ones in Matt's replies. The seamless way people transition from hating Trump to hating Musk has been amazing to watch. In 10 years, we'll have a Photoshop compilation with like 6 different faces on it. Yeah, dude. You shouldn't hate Donald Trump, and you shouldn't hate Elon Musk. You're right. It's the PMCs that are at fault. You can hate the PMCs and also turn around and hate the Elon Musk and Donald Trump, who are basically the lords and the masters of the PMCs. The PMCs are the professional managerial class gets hatred because they are working at the behest of these corporate overlords. Holy dude. The controversy surfaced in late January when the journalist Matt Taibbi posted a lengthy Twitter thread as a part of the so-called Twitter Files, an ongoing series publicizing the internal content moderation debates. It included photos of emails in which a former Twitter executive, Yoel Roth, expressed concerns about Hamilton 68, a now defunct public dashboard that tracked hundreds of Twitter accounts to monitor the spread of pro-Russian propaganda online. But now neither Taibbi nor Roth are willing to talk about the controversy. The architects of the tracker did not respond to a request for the list of accounts that it tracked. Hamilton 68 was launched in 2017. Its creators at the Alliance for Securing Democracy wrote that the tool seeks to expose the effects of online influence networks and inform public of themes and content being promoted to the Americans through a near real-time look at Russian propaganda and disinformation efforts online.
Mr. Taibbi, have you had conversations with Elon Musk?
I have.
Okay. Mr. Taibbi, did Mr. Musk place any conditions on the use of the...
Would the gentlelady yield for a second?
As long as my time is not used.
Are you trying to get journalists?
No, I'm not trying to
get
get.
Sources?
No, I'm not.
Jim Jordan, Jim Jordan loves secrecy whenever investigations are taking place. Okay, let's continue.
I am
sounds
asking.
like it.
No, well, if you will let me finish. You had conversations with him. You said you weren't going to agree to who your sources were. I'm not asking you your source. I'm asking you if you had conversations with the owner of Twitter. And did Mr. Musk place any conditions on you?
Yeah, doesn't that also basically imply that Jim Jordan just outed Elon Musk as being Matt Taibbi's source almost? Are you asking him to out his sources, Elon Musk?
Use of the emails or documents?
No, in fact, I was told explicitly that we were given license to look at present-day Twitter as well as past Twitter.
So you had unfiltered access to Twitter's
Guys, you don't
internal
understand.
communications?
Guys, you don't understand. Jim Jordan has to defend people who are sex pests, okay? Allegedly. He has to. That's just what he does. You know what I mean? So he's just he doesn't even know anything about Matt Taibbi. He's just he heard that and he was like, I got to defend him.
And systems?
Yes.
Would those include HR files?
No. We did not have access to personal information of any kind. In fact, we signed a waiver
Have you produced that waiver to the members of anyone on this committee or any staff?
I'd be happy to.
Have you?
The only thing I still respect about Matt Taibbi is that he's still doing that hairstyle that kind of you never really see anymore. When you do the horseshoe, you're very clearly bald, and you still keep the side hair. You're YOLO. I'm bald, and I want everyone to know I'm bald. I really respect that. People don't do that anymore, dude. A lot of people don't do that.
I haven't, but I'd be happy.
Have you given all of the access to what you were given by your source to this committee?
No, I would never do that.
Okay. I didn't ask if you were given the committee, the individuals, but all of the files. No, you have not?
No.
So what we're getting is your dissemination, your decision as to what was important and not important in that, correct?
Which is true in every news story.
In every story. And the FTC investigation of Twitter, you knew that they were investigating Twitter before the time period that Mr. Musk came on?
I was aware of it, yes.
And the FTC was concerned with user data being hacked or used? Is that correct, that they didn't have enough checks and balances on that data?
Well, I wasn't privy to that part.
Have you seen the consent decree?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, the consent decree is concerned with user data, which would be probably the reason that they were concerned if they're giving files to journalists that potentially data about users as well as data about individuals.
This is a profoundly important part of this investigation, or this is the main point of this is probably one of the major points that is the reason why Matt Taibbi is there to begin with. Like, he was like, oh, they're just trying to bully me and try to bully Elon Musk because I'm doing such great journalism for Twitter or whatever. But like, no, dude, like, you have this corrupt billionaire asshole who has no respect for the rule of law, no understanding of it, and no interest in like even following the legal counsel's advice on any particular matter. Yeah, of course Congress is going to ask if like one of the major social media platforms now owned by a singular individual gave access to like private information and private conversations to some random right-wing journalist who's trying to do promo for the platform itself. That's crazy.
You a question, sir. Okay. So do you know that Elon Musk paid $44 billion for Twitter? Is that correct, Mr. Schellenberger? Were you aware of that?
Yes, I read that.
And did you know that he received that part of the funding from Saudi Arabia as well as Qatar?
I heard that.
And did you know that one of those individuals who owns Binance was the company Binance, while he has Canadian citizenship,
Binance.
he is a Chinese national? Were you aware of that?
I did not know that.
Okay, and that he stated that that was for the cause. But thank you very much for answering my questions. I yield back.
What's wrong with that? They're implying that it's a Chinese national. You are
Mr.
getting information from like information that you're not supposed to have, possibly. A company now owned by, foreign nationals, where the information that you're getting and disseminating, or the information being given to you, is about like private American citizens. That's what it is. I mean, I get it. Like, I understand why. Like the Binance thing would be considered a security flaw for sure. It doesn't even matter that like my own personal feelings on China does not change that reality. That's a stupid conspiracy take. Did you fail to hear when she also talked about Saudi Arabia? Or Musk seems to have violated the FTC decree over handling user data by telling employees to give access to everything at Twitter to journalists. This is like the CEO of AT&T telling subordinates, let journalists listen in on whatever calls he or she wants. Exactly. Musk seems to have waived all due process rights for Twitter. If third parties get access to all internal information, then everything Twitter is trying to withhold from the FTC on the grounds that is confidential, legal advice is no longer privileged. In summary, whoever told Musk to get Jim Jordan to go after the FTC over Twitter's privacy consent decree basically destroyed Musk's legal defense and may end up costing the company another big fine. They paid $150 million over data privacy violations before Musk bought the company. It's yet another instance, where like Elon Musk behaving in this insane manner, like the petulant, petty little tyrant child he is, where he's just like, I don't give a about the law. Like, who cares? Yeah, give this guy access to everything. That's crazy. You can't do that. Like, you can't do that. Like, there are things that even billionaires can't do, like avoid the top of the hour ad break without subscribing.